Hello everyone, welcome back to the YouTube channel. I'm doing a Q&A today, all things alcohol-free living. This is the second video in this series because I had so many questions about quitting booze, what it's like, what to expect, the ups, the downs, the challenges you face. There's been a huge response, to be honest, to that question sticker that I put out because I think people have so much curiosity and they want to understand this way of living better. So if that sounds like you, stick around. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Dr. Alex George. I'm nearly 3 years alcohol free and I'm proud to live this way. It's changed my life. I wouldn't be doing it if it hasn't. And I really want other people to explore this incredible way of living because do you know what? There is another life and it can be wonderful. If you haven't already, do subscribe to the YouTube channel because then you can get a notification every Sunday when I create a new video, and do like the video because it helps us reach more people and we make content because we want to reach and help people. Okay, let's get started, shall we? So thank you for the questions. The first one I'm going to start on is around social life and fun without alcohol because there's been lots of questions on this. How did you manage socializing at the start of your alcohol-free journey? So I was very worried that by not drinking, my life would end and be boring and rubbish and I'd never have fun again. I'd never laugh, I'd never have stories to tell. I'd just sat inside in the corner of my room while everyone else was having fun. And what I did deliberately is that, this can be different for everyone, but what I did is that I threw myself into it. What I mean by that is that I went to the pub and didn't drink. I hung out with my friends when they were having a few drinks without the booze. Doesn't work for everyone, it did for me. And the reason that it was good for me, there was two reasons. Number one, I realised that I could do it without booze and it was still really good fun. And it is, go and try it. It's really good fun. You realise that you have fun on a night out because you're with your mates and the environment, the people, not because of the booze. You realise that the anxiety goes after 10-15 minutes when you arrive at something and actually you cook perfectly fine without the booze. Secondly, and this is a really big one, I realised that a lot of this stuff isn't actually that fun without booze. So I don't mean being with your friends, I mean like being up till 2 a.m, eating a rubbish kebab that makes you feel crap, and being in a sticky club underground that you paid a fortune to get into, that you queued for an hour and you're sticking to the floor inside and people are chatting rubbish and it smells. You know, when you don't drink and you go to like a busy bar, you realise how much it smells. It actually really smells. When you're drunk, you just don't have your senses the same. Honestly, I didn't realise how much bars can smell. So it really opened my eyes. And I realised that actually I do quite enjoy going to a pub, a nice cosy pub with a fire on, my mates, and have an alcohol-free beer. I do really enjoy that. I love doing that. Love a Sunday roast. Love, like meeting up, say in a beer garden in the sunshine and having an alcohol-free beer. Love that. But I actually realised I have no interest in being up till 2 a.m in a sticky club. People chat nonsense after about kind of 10 o'clock in the evening, boozing, I don't want to hear it. And I'd rather spend my time elsewhere. And I discovered that because I threw myself into socialising. And now I just socialise different. I spend my time differently. I love my mornings. I like to do meaningful things. I like adventures. I like riding motorbikes, meeting people through those things. It's a lot more fun than being in a pub till 2 a.m. Number two, how do you have fun without alcohol? I guess I started answering that. I replaced it with other things. I love my exercise, my sport. I love going to watch sport. That's really good fun. I love to ride motorcycles, something I started doing as I was quitting booze, and it is the most fun ever. Literally love it. It is an amazing thing to do. And it's actually it's gone from being a hobby to, and I get to work with Honda, an ambassador for Honda UK for riding motorbikes. So actually a hobby has turned into part of my job as well, which is pretty cool. And all that started because I stopped drinking. So quitting drink really can lead to good things. I have fun by socializing. I'll go and do stuff with my mates. I go to the beach, or we'll go and have a barbecue. I love having barbecue in the summer. That's one of my favourite things. Go to Nando's. I love Nando's. You just find other stuff that's fun. If I see my mates, we'll kind of watch sport together, watch a film, go to the cinema. Like, I've discovered the cinema again since quitting booze. I like watching films. So, well, I do like watching films, but I lose concentration a lot of the way through. I like the idea of watching films. The point is there is so much more to life, and you can start exploring who you are when you remove the booze, because that's not who you are. You are not the person with the booze in you. You are the person without the booze. So you will find out who you are, and you will discover how you like to spend your time. And that is exciting. When out with friends, do you go home earlier now that you don't drink? Yeah, definitely. You realise that the key to having a good night out is to leave while the party is still fun. Everyone watching this, I'm sure, will be able to relate to this, that you end up waking up the next day and be like, why did I stay? Why did I not go home with that friend that left at 11? They left when it was still good, and then I stayed until it was closed, then we couldn't get a cab, and then people fell out, and then now I'm so tired and hungover, I didn't need those extra few beers. Honestly, I love it. I leave when the evening is like at a good point, but I know in half an hour it's going to start getting a bit like the same stories come out, people are slurring their words too much, it's nonsense. I just go home. I go home, and I've never regretted it. I've never woken up and thought, damn it, I should have stayed there longer. Never, ever, ever. I've never woken up and thought, oh, I really missed out there, I should have stayed longer. Never. I've always been glad that I went in and I left. How do I leave? Trap door. I just smoke bomb and go on, baby. I just literally drop that smoke bomb, I'm out the door. If I'm with one person, it'd be a bit weird to get up and walk out the door. I'll say Tom, I'm heading home now, mate. You could usually we'll come to the conclusion it's time to go home, and we'll part ways in a normal way. But if I'm out and there's a group of people, I never say goodbye to anyone other than the person I'm talking to. I just go home because they're not going to care, and they're not going to remember when you leave. And that's nothing personal about you. They're in their own space. They're on their own thing. Just head out the door and go home. No one's going to ring you the next day and say, how dare you go home? They're like, cool, fair play. Trapdoor's a good way of doing it. Right, next question. Do you ever still crave a drink, for example, at celebrations or after a game? I think up until the first year, including my birthday, which was around a year in, or just after a year in, I had occasions, specifically when it was a sunny day, where I thought, oh, do I want to have a drink? And what I did at those times is the thing I talked about before. I played it through. If I have a beer now, how will I feel in half an hour? How will I feel this evening when I go to bed and lie there? What will I feel like the next day? And next week, how will I feel about the fact I've had a drink? I think invariably I thought, well, actually if I play it through and I don't, how will I feel tomorrow? Really chuffed, happy, positive. I was like, bugger it. And I didn't drink. And that's how I dealt with all those kind of instances. Now it's become a way of life. I just don't drink. And I get excited to drink alcohol-free beers. Literally why I started Dead Clear, which you've seen. So I started an alcohol-free drinks company with my friend Jack. We're in the process of building something I think really exciting. And I'm excited about a drink that doesn't have booze in it. It's still great and I still have fun. But now I don't get any cravings, and I celebrate by enjoying the moment with the people, because it's not the booze, it's the people. That's what I finally realised, I guess, after a long time, is it was never about the booze, it was always about the people. Next question, how do you deal with being ostracised for not drinking? This includes people thinking there is something wrong with me, I'm boring, I don't have fun. This is one of the main things that scares me when I eventually reintegrate with socialising out in pubs and bars after recently going alcohol-free. There's a few things here. If someone judges you for not drinking, they probably have an issue with booze. That is honestly the truth that I've realised, and it might not be palatable for everyone, but the people that are really comfortable with their own drinking habits don't have an issue. My mates who I go out with and have a couple of beers and then they'll go to alcohol-free beers, they have never, ever, ever had an issue with the fact that I don't drink. The problem is, if you've got someone who drinks and they drink for certain reasons or too much, or they've got an issue with it, and you don't drink, it makes them feel bad. It shines a light on their drinking. If they didn't have an issue at all, they wouldn't care, I promise you. So first of all, it's more about them than you, and you should definitely not live your life for other people. I would say that for sure. So good friends will support you, not so good friends, or good friends that are going through issues might not, but that's their issue, not yours. Do not change what you're doing because someone else might not like it and it makes them feel weird about their drinking. Do not do that. It's not a good way to live life. You don't need me to tell you that. So that's the first thing. So hold true to why you don't drink and stick with it. And I think caring a little bit less what other people think is important. But the third one, I think another uncomfortable truth, is that we think people care more than they do. They don't really care. Even if they said to you, oh, do you sure you want a beer? Trust me, they're not lying awake at night thinking, oh my God, John, John didn't have a beer tonight. Absolutely. They get on with their evening within seconds. They don't care. And if they push you, they're rubbish people and don't spend time with them. Do not spend time with people who are going to push you to take something you don't want to take. That is ridiculous. And sometimes you've got to have boundaries. The thing that happens when you stop drinking is suddenly you build boundaries in your own life. You start questioning the people you spend your time with, and you start becoming more respectful of your time, your energy, and who you are. Have more respect for who you are. That's what I'd say is really important. Your life and your time, your energy, your happiness deserves respect. But people don't care. You think people care more than they do. They don't. Honestly, they don't. Even if you think they do, they don't. Just own what you do, the way you live. Be proud of it. People ask you questions, say, yeah, that's it. I love not drinking, man. I'm up tomorrow and going to the gym, or I'm just going to have a lie-in tomorrow and enjoy my life. I'm not lying in because I'm hungover. I'm lying in because I want to, and I enjoy it. Own it. It's really important. Right, now we're going to talk about alcohol-free alternatives before going on to relationships and broader topics. Alcohol-free alternatives. Do you use alcohol-free versions of regular drinks or just stick to juice and water? No, I love alcohol-free drinks. I love alcohol-free beers specifically. It's why I've started a Dead Clear, why I was so excited about it, because it's a growing market in space, because loads of people are becoming alcohol-free, so realize it's rather cool. They don't just want to drink soda, they want to have tasty things to drink, and we are learning that you can make enjoyable drinks that are not alcohol. I made a whole video with Jack. You can look on this channel. Me and Jack sat down and tasted a range of beers, and we discovered some pretty tasty ones. So I love it. Find what you enjoy. It's absolutely fine though if you don't want to have an alcohol-free drink. I've got a friend who just drinks water. That's because they like water. They don't want to drink an alcohol-free drink. But there are loads of alternatives, and it's a great way as well. If you go into a house party or something, take alcohol-free beers with you. No one's going to question you. Literally, no one knows. You've got a glass of something. Take something with you, no one's going to question you. But I think it is fun. Discover it, explore it, and find things you like. And all of a sudden you realise that it's actually rather nice on a Friday evening to sit down with the food, grab an alcohol-free beer and have a drink. You get the same sense of reward and goodness from that moment. And the good news is that in general, alcohol-free beers are a lot better for you, not just because the alcohol's not there, but also what's inside it is much better for you in general than a soda. In general, the vast majority are much better for you, and I think that's probably a good advantage. And what's your current go-to alcohol-free drink? I love the Beavertown Laser Crush. I think it's so nice. That's right up there. Guinness Zero as well. Super, super tasty. I love the alcohol-free IPAs. That's my thing. What are your favourite options for sociable drinks that aren't alcohol-free beers? One of my favourite options, honestly, sparkling water rather a lot. I love sparkling water and ice. I know that makes me the devil. I know. Why does everyone have a thing about sparkling water? People think that drinking sparkling water is like weird. I love it. So yeah, what would I have that's not alcohol-free beer? There's a few decent alcohol-free wines out there. I like a mocktail, and I really like sour tastes. So something like a mojito or anything that just has a sharpness to it. I actually like what's it called? What's the one with the chilies in it? I can't remember, but I like the spicy ones as well. I love that. Recommendations for alcohol-free, low sugar, non-fizzy drinks, UK based. I think there's lots of the alcohol-free beers, to be honest, are really good. If you're looking at the wines, just check the sugar content. Sometimes the sugar content in the wine and the ciders can be really high, but in general, most of the beers are significantly less calorific. So just have a look at the label. The great thing is that the legislation states that for alcohol-free drinks, you have to show what's in it. Isn't it crazy though, that for alcoholic drinks, you only have to state the ABV, you do not have to say what's in it? I wonder why none of or very few alcohol companies show what's in it. So that's something to think about. Look at the bottle, try different things, enjoy the experimentation, just buy what you enjoy. What's your opinion on low alcohol drinks? I think they're great. They provide an alternative that's not just about the absence of. I think they provide a genuine offering of something that's enjoyable. Like, I don't just want to drink a cup of tea on a Friday night. If I'm watching the football on Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening or something, I want to have if I'm having a pizza as a treat, I'm going to have an alcohol-free beer with it. I don't want a cup of tea with that. I think that's the whole point, is that we want something to enjoy that is fun, that is different from the day-to-day, and there are good options that are out there. when will you launch your own alcohol-free beer? So hopefully springtime of next year is roughly when we're looking at. We're making a lot of progress. There's so much to think about. You've got to think about the modelling, the financial modelling, how we're going to fund it, get in a place to brew what we want to brew, the supermarkets and things lined up, branding, the strategy and marketing, even the accounting side. There's lots of stuff that has to happen, and that's why we are sharing on the Dead Clear Instagram page. You can head over and have a look. We're going to share that journey because I think it's really interesting that there's a lot more than just making a nice drink that goes into creating a drinks brand. But I'm really excited about it. It's really fun. We're going to make something really cool. I really hope it's going to be something that you guys enjoy, because that's what it's all about. For me, the Dead Clear is all about the community of alcohol-free living, but alcohol-free living is more, not less. That's what it's all about. That's the fundamental. I think a lot of the alcohol-free brands miss that. I think a lot of, certainly the companies that sell alcohol, that do it as an alternative, they're just doing it because they want to, they know there's money to be made there. They don't live by the values. No offense, but you can't live by the values if you sell alcohol as well. It's not the point. I think that's true. I don't think there's any counter to that. So, and that's, I drink Beavertown Laser Crush. I drink Guinness Zero. So it's not, no hate on them, but I don't think it's the same as genuinely having an alcohol-free community and a mission to talk and share the message of how amazing it can be to live without booze. So yeah, I'm excited about it. Right, let's talk now about relationships, support, and broader topics. So relationships being a big part of it. So how can you support someone who has an alcohol problem? So this is a good question. So you might be watching this not as someone that has challenges with alcohol, but someone whose partner does, or you're a partner of, or whatever. So I think the first thing is to really hone in here, is that you cannot make someone realise that they need to stop. I think you can have a conversation. I think it's important if you're a loved one, a friend. I wish more people around me had said a bit more along the way. And I think you can have that conversation sensibly. I think it's sitting down and saying don't do this when they're drinking, doing it when it's a calm situation, and it's got to be the right kind of person that will even kind of listen to you. But I think it's worth saying okay, Jess, I just want to chat to you, about drink and things. I just want to kind of get a feeling from you. Do you enjoy it? Are you still enjoying drinking? How do you feel when you drink? How do you feel after you drink? Is it still something that serves you? Do you think there's reason, why do you drink? What's the reasons behind it? And you can say look, hey, it's, if you're being honest, there's things that I look at and I'm worried about, and I'm worried about you. And I say there's some place of care, but have you thought about whether a life with less or without booze might be something that you'd enjoy? You can ask the questions. I don't think you can tell people. I think you can ask them questions, they explore it, and they have to decide if they want to change. You cannot force people to change. They have to decide themselves. You can try and support them. I think you can point them in the direction of support, channels like this that maybe will show them the light, but also how you quit. Books like The Unexpected Joy of Being Sober, great book that I think probably can convert a lot of people. And sometimes that's what's about, telling people, just putting things in front of them, sliding things on the desk that perhaps they could be interested, they'll come to when they're ready to look at. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Be a friend, don't fix. Realise you can't force someone to do it. But protect yourself as well. If it's impacting your life, you need to be honest about that. I think you just say and have boundaries. I think it's very important. If alcohol is affecting your life, and it probably is as well, by virtue of theirs, then I think you can be very honest about that. I think that's very important. Does alcohol affect sex drive? So I guess it depends on the person really, but I guess a good question is, not that that's not a good question, but a good way of looking at this is, does it affect performance, and does it cause sexual dysfunction? Yes, it certainly does for a lot of people. Affects the ability to get an erection, maintain one, orgasm, all these different things. It can really affect your sex life in a negative way. And also, for people that are sick and hungover, they perhaps don't feel too sexy. So I think it can affect it, certainly, and it certainly can for people affect their sex drive. I mean, it affects your brain, and it can affect your brain very negatively, and a lot of our centres of pleasure and excitement and all of these things, these drives, come in our brain. So clearly it's quite an important aspect. So alcohol can certainly affect that, and it can affect not just directly, it's indirectly. If alcohol causes arguments in your relationship, if alcohol causes disconnection in your relationship, that's not really going to be really helpful to have intimacy and so on. I think alcohol is not great. It can make people feel intimate in the moment, but I think it can overall have a net negative effect on intimacy. And I think, again, it comes down to having honest conversations with your partner. If you're single, I think it's honest conversation with yourself as to how it affects that part of your life. Number 3, what are your thoughts on AA? So AA being one of the longest standing support networks for those who are struggling with alcohol. I think they've saved God knows how many lives. I think it's probably one of the best ever public health initiatives. And I think that for some people it is literally life-saving. It's not for everyone. You've got their it's the 12-step program, isn't it, I believe? And effectively, it is based on spirituality and religious elements and stuff like that. But fundamentally, you don't have to be religious to engage in that kind of 12-step. People find it so helpful, but for some people, it's not the right vehicle. And that's because we're not all the same. So you could give it a go. You could look up online, actually, YouTube videos about people describing what AA is like, what happens, and you can look up if there's one near you if you want to try it. There's no shame, there's no judgment. Go along and see what it's like. As far as I understand, you really can just turn up and they're a pretty welcoming bunch, I believe, on the whole. So look it up, check it out. Do you believe people can enjoy alcohol in moderation? I think some people can. I think some people can enjoy moderation. I do. My mum can. She has very little. There's people, in my life, friends that definitely can. So I'm not going to say no. I think so. But I think far more people can't. I think if you were going to look at ratios, if you were to sit down in a pub, go to a pub actually on a Saturday night at 10 o'clock and look around the room and count the number of people that perhaps are managing to moderate versus who had a few too many drinks. And I guess that sounds a bit judgmental, but I guess that will give you some answer. Depends what you mean by moderation. Do you mean about having binge drinking but not doing it too often, or do you mean about genuine moderation where you manage intake when you drink? I guess it depends on that kind of way of looking at it. But yes, people can do it. Do I think most people are good at it? No, probably not. Was I good at it? Absolutely not. I couldn't do it. I'd either have no beers or 10. Moderation was not a thing for me. So you have to be honest with yourself. And I think for people who struggle to moderate, I don't think you can learn to. You can't outpower a drug. I don't think you can learn to. I think if you're someone that struggles with moderation, it's not going to change. And you're always going to be fighting that. And you might be able to manage it for a period of time, you might be able to restrict on yourself, but you're always going to be fighting this battle. And for me, I just would rather get rid of it than constantly be battling with this thing. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me for yet another video. And I really appreciate all the questions. I genuinely mean, Suze was saying there's fantastic questions submitted, really thoughtful ones, and ones I think that will help a lot of people, not just those that have asked the question, but I think it raises topics that are important to everyone. Thanks so much for joining me. I love making these videos. We're here every Sunday to support you on your journey, whether you are drinking but drinking less, whether you're sober, whether you're sober curious, wherever you're at, we're here to support you. So please do subscribe, like the channel, please do stick likes there, comment below. It really helps us reach more people, because fundamentally, what is the point making these videos if we're not helping and reaching people? Thank you so much, everyone. Take care and goodbye.